You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee. You can hear Whole Mind, Body, and Soul Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Yessurr-FM, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network.
Love, peace, and light. You're now tuned into the most inspirational and informative show on a Thursday night, where elevation through inspiration is truly our goal. You're now tuned into Mind, Body, and Soul on Yessurr-FM. I am your host, Lawrence-Coutee. I'd like to thank everybody for being with us today. I'd like to thank everybody for coming back and tuning in. And for those who are tuning in for the first time, we welcome you. Tonight, my special guest is going to be my brother Marcus M. Positive Parker. We're going to have him on the show. Tonight's show is really about living your dreams and finding your purpose, rising above adversity, and really finding your calling. Because we all have something in us. We all have something about us that we're supposed to share with the world. So I'm not going to hold. I'm going to jump right into it because we got a lot of ground to cover with Marcus tonight. So I'm going to get ready to bring him in. This brother is an author. He's a motivational hip-hop artist, poet. He's a certified life coach. And he's just a very, very inspirational and positive brother. And I'm so happy to have him on the show tonight. Marcus, welcome to Whole Body and Soul. How you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great. And I'm doing awesome, and I want to thank you guys for having me.
Man, it's an honor to have you on, man. I mean, I met you at an event a couple of months ago, and I got a chance to talk to you and kind of build with you on the phone. And, man, you know, just a lot of the things that you're doing, you know, is in my lane. And I was just so impressed, man, with your backstory and all the things that you've been able to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, right now, as far as living your dream and finding your passion. But, you know, I know a little bit about that story, but can you take us back to the beginning, man, how you got on your purpose and how you started your journey and your calling?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know, my name is Marcus Parker, a.k.a. M Positive, and I'm originally from Port Arthur, Texas, and I came out of Lincoln High School. I was a kid who lived, your normal kid growing up in the 90s, listening to gangster rap or whatever. I was that dude, and I came up in the my mother kept me real good in the church and whatnot, and I tried my best to absorb what I could then, So as I got off into the world and left my small city, how it is when you're in a small place, a lot of times people have, we all kind of think alike. The mentalities of the folks around you are usually the same. So I got a chance to kind of break out when I joined the Air Force in 1993. And I started to travel around, and I went to see some different places of life. And slowly but surely, brother, I started realizing that, man, the more I traveled and the more I saw and the more people that I met, I started noticing how different people were. You know what I mean? Like, people saw things differently. And I remember speaking in the tone that I used to speak in when I was back at home, where everybody gonna do this, right? You know what I mean? And you know how we speak inclusive like that because we already know how everybody's gonna feel about a certain thing. Kind of like if you're around a whole bunch of, fans of the same sport or fans of the same team or whatever, everybody's in agreement that we all rooting for that same team. And, so everybody where I was from wanted to come up. Everything was all about, getting on top and, buying a big house and buying the, the fresh car and having the lifestyle and and the Rolexes and, you know what I mean? And that kind of thing, the diamonds, what we heard about on TV, what we saw on what we heard on the radio and saw on TV as where we were all trying to go, right?
Right.
You with me so far?
I'm with you.
And so the crazy thing about my story is I was in electronics. I got out of the Air Force, and right at that time, I was at the right place at the right time, and I walked right into an industry just as in 1997, I moved to Austin, Texas, and I started working in the semiconductor industry. And that industry at that time was just like a rocket ship. It was booming. They were throwing money at us, literally throwing money at us. So I was 19, 20, maybe 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, them years of my life, I was already making like, $100,000 a year and had stocks and all that stuff, right? So the crazy thing about my story is I actually made it to that plateau that had discussed earlier on in life, right? That where we were trying to get to. By the time I was, 25, man, I'd already been married. I had a child. I was, I built my third house. I started building my third house by the time I was 25. And this is a true story too, you know what I mean? But, and so all of this stuff, happened, and it was like it became my identity, brother. You with me? Like everything that we wanted in life, everything that people admired about me was the stuff and the things and everything that I had accomplished, which was what we had all agreed to was the final destination. And I mean, from school to teachers to church to anywhere you went, nobody talked down on having financial freedom and having a big house and having things, right? Because that's where we were going. That was the talk. Nobody ever told me that where I could accomplish or where I could be one day would be led by my purpose or, or finding who I really was. It was all about the come up. And so, I was that it was like I won the lottery, I guess you could say, because, I had my chance to experience it. And I experienced it at a young age, and I would say that the lessons I learned throughout those times really carried me into who I became later on in life, because I'm 41 now, right? And so I went through all of these things. Imagine 25, third house. I'm in a golf course community. I got people used to play for the Cowboys in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And oh man, I'm living it. Right. And so a crazy thing happened a few years later. 9/11 happened. And, in 2001, when the stock market crashed after the big, 9/11 thing, and another crazy experience happened to him. I ended up losing all of the stuff I had, you know what I'm saying? Because I was keeping my money in the stock market because that's what ultimately grew it in the first place. Right. So, I had margins, and I had just started to reach out to try to buy real estate, and, and I got my hands in everything, but I had no idea that something as dramatic, something as major as that had never happened throughout the course of my lifetime. So I could not have foreseen it. So to watch the wealth crumble, and then to realize and watch day to day and say to myself, like, wow, look at this. Now, remember, by this time, everything that I thought I was, everything that I valued about myself was all wrapped up in the stuff I had. Yeah. It was all wrapped up in the things that I had, acquired. And so as I started to lose those things and I started to be humbled and removed, those things started pulling out of my life, you know what I mean? Almost like, you know, people tell me all the time, like the story of Moses or something. You know, I've heard that lots of times over the years, right? Because I was now out of the temple. I'm out of the palace, and I'm having to fend for myself. And now instead of me, who had, you know, been so used to, you know, loaning money to people and, you know, and helping people out of their problems and stuff like that, now I'm actually asking. Now I'm actually having to regroup and stuff. And man, it almost killed me. And when I say it almost killed me, I almost took my own life because, you know, I didn't have an identity, you know, because I had created that identity. I had let that be who I said I was to myself. People call me Money Marcus or Make It Happen Marcus, whatever, you know. And I can even recall times, bro, where I lived. I don't know if you know, the community is old now, but at the time it was new. It was called Waterview out in Rowlett. And when they were building this thing, it was one of the first, like, you know, like golf course communities where it had like a water park inside of it and a golf course and, you know, I mean, duck ponds and stuff like that. And I mean, you know, I had never seen nothing like that coming from where I came from. So, of course, I had to, you know, build me a house out there. And you know, so as I started, you know, losing things, I remember getting to a point where I'm sitting in my closet, man, and I got a big master closet. You know, it was huge, and, you know, I'm sitting in there, and I got a gun, man, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting in a place where I want to put this thing to my head and just call it quits because I don't want to go forward no more, right? Everything in life that I thought was, you know, for me, you know, that I had acquired for what I thought was my payback for living the you know, the childhood that I had been raised up in. I thought that this was the, you know, my happy part of the story. And I couldn't believe that I was losing this. I didn't want to deal with the people. I didn't want to explain to people that I was less than what they thought I was. I didn't want to go through all of that. And, you know, and bills and how will I ever deal with this? And so, you know, I was ready to take myself out, really, you know, because, again, that was my identity. And so it was at that point in life, bro, that I really, really started to, you know, hone in on me. Who am I? Who am I? What did God put me here for real? Was it just to buy bigger houses and bigger houses and bigger houses? Was it just to buy fresher cars and nicer cars and nicer cars? You know what I'm saying? Was it to buy fancier watches and jewelry and stuff like that? Was that my purpose? Was I doing anything? You know what I'm saying? Or did I have a bigger purpose? Did he give me this story and this, you know, this adversity and in this story so that I could be a blessing to millions of other people who need this information? You know what I'm saying? And that's where life started to change for me. That's where things started to really kind of sway for me because I realized, like, wow, all my life I had moped about my problems and I had, you know, been selfish, I thought, you know, in ways or whatever, and I had did for me and my family, but there were so many, you know, and of course I'd help people out or whatever, but with money, you know what I'm saying? I hear you, your light bill here, you know, your this here, you know, whatever here. But I didn't help anybody with any substance. I hadn't given anybody anything that they can grow from. I didn't give anybody anything from me that had been really learned from my experience because everybody just wanted the life that they thought I had, the happiness that they thought I had, which was just surrounded in, again, stuff. So in 2004, I released a book. I sat back and wrote a story about my life. And, you know, and up until that point, I had never told anybody, you know, some of the stories about me because I was ashamed of them. And, you know, and at that time I became transparent. You know, it took me to get almost to the grave to really become that vessel that I could be, you know, something that the universe could use to help everybody else out. And so I told about my life, and I told about, how I didn't know my biological father, and how I found out who he was when I was 17 years old. And, I found, I told about how I was insecure. I told about, how I didn't, the things and stuff that I went through. And I also told, gave people nuggets that they could live by. Now, at this point, I had only been trained on electronics and, stuff like that. But my life experience by this point was telling me like, man, life is bigger than this. So it was like I wrote the book, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like my way out, if you would. And then it became a Dallas Morning News bestseller. It was called The Product. I was selling them out of Black Images bookstore, Joe K's bookstore, African Imports, all of the family Christian stores and online. I mean, it wasn't as heavy on the online tip, but they used to have a store called Borders bookstore. Mm-hmm. Right. They're closed now, but at least here I know they're closed. But and I was out there, and now this little book that really came about, through me humbling myself and through me, just hitting this dead space in life, had become such a help to so many people. And it was really then again, another big nugget to me to say like, wow, man. People started hitting me up like, man, dude, thank you so much for this book, man. You said some things that really changed my life. And, man, you just don't know. That hit home, man. And, and people that, man, I went back to school because of you. And crazy. You know what I mean? Now, again, I didn't start this to be like, oh, man, when I grow up, I want to be an author and be speaking at schools. And, and I'm going to really stimulate people to, fulfill their purpose and work their dreams. That was never in the that was never on the on the to-do list. I wanted to have a fresh house with a live, car, and I wanted to be super fly. That was on the list. And so I had accomplished that, and it come to find out that was what was on everybody else's list too, obviously, because that based on the way everyone treated me, new and old friends or whatever, everybody was in agreement that, yeah, that's dope right there. That's what I'm trying to be. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
It's funny, for the people in Dallas, Texas, I don't know if you remember, they had a rapper, his name was Mr. Lucci, and he was a local, he was national, whatever, Lucci and Pookie was the name of those two guys, man, and they were like stars in Dallas. And, and I remember Lucci coming to my house one time, and he's like, man, you inspire me. Man, this inspires me. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking like, wow, look at this, man. Everybody that I come in contact with, you know what I mean? And, I had love for the brother, you know what I mean? And like for everybody from the street who was seeing where I was going and what I was trying to do and not realizing that everything that about me was all driven by my insecurities. It was all driven by my, my displacement issues. It was all driven by my, wanting to be included and feeling, really all of these feelings that I never addressed, but I was acting them out materially. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So in the process, man, so the book goes, and everybody loves the product. And I just couldn't believe it, how it had just, molded so many people's lives and whatever. And, and the popularity that I had acquired because of it, and just think that I didn't even want to do it. Right? I had no intentions of doing nothing like that. I did not want to, you know what I mean? Later on I wanted to write a book, but just, really more so about, how fresh I was. You know what I'm saying? Right, I just wanted to write a book and tell you, all the cool things I got and whatever. But not something that touched on self-help, that taught you about, follow through, setting goals. You know what I mean? Learn to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Battling negativity, stuff like that. The real stuff that we really needed to address. And here it is, I had, fallen into it completely on accident. So as I started going to the schools and people started, calling me to schools, man, I started in Dallas and I spoke at, pretty much, I would say all of the high schools, in Dallas, and I kept a list of them, where I used to, keep my little media kit and whatever, but I would go to schools and speak and do the little, pregnant teens conventions and, all kind of little stuff, but I was like that guy. And, and it was through that I learned the need for the motivational rap. Because motivational rap was something that I said, man, I grew up rapping. I grew up, writing lyrics and listening to rap all my life. And, I was always good at it, but it was like, I realized that everybody, I couldn't get certain kids, sometimes I couldn't get, individuals to read the book. Maybe their reading skills weren't good enough for them to be able to absorb the message that I was trying to give to them. You understand? Like they were just calling words by the time they finished the paragraph or whatever. They might not have had full understanding of what that paragraph was supposed to be teaching them. So I said, you know what? They can't read this, but they know the lyrics to all of the music on the radio and whatnot. So what I did was I took chapters of my music and took chapters of the book and different life lessons, and I put it all in the motivational, in the rap music, and I called it motivational rap. And that's how I got started doing that, man. And since I started in 2005, I think I probably put up, over 50 songs on the internet, and they've been sold and downloaded and streamed in probably, every country in the world at some point, not, star status. I hadn't made a platinum album ever. But I tell you what, I've affected a lot of people, and there's, a lot of people, reached out to me and, told me a lot of good stuff. I even got on World Star, people were going in like, man, nobody want to hear this positive stuff. And, what I'm saying, a lot of negative stuff, but, at the same time, I got like thousands of people who came back to my page talking about, man, I wish I was as courageous as you. Man, this is really good. Man, I wish people listen to this. Man, you got something here, bro. Don't stop, man. What can I do to help you type thing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So over the years, that's how it started. And it was really that level of crash and burn in life that it took to create the Marcus M. Positive Parker that I am today, bro.
Well, Marcus, when I first met you, man, and all this material, man, I saw all these videos and all the music and the package, and I was blown away because I'm like, you're going after the youth using a medium that is hip-hop driven and spoken word driven. And, you're right, man. It's like that was just ingenious that you would grab that platform, of music, and to be able to go out and give it to the youth and let them listen to something. And I saw the video where you went to the school and you had all the kids, in the stands rocking, and you would call in response. You would tell them to say something, they would say it. So you had them, and I was just blown away, man. I was just like everybody else. I'm like, this brother right here has something, has something,
I appreciate it. And, it's so crazy because, in my earlier life, I was on all ego, right? It was all about me. And then, after I went through all of my, my stuff in life, it's like I realized it was all humility. It was all humble, and that's where I am. So I thank you for the compliment. But I tell you, bro, it's like I can't say that I, intended on doing it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm always smiling and I'm always trying to do something to give somebody a positive word and, and just let them know that no matter what goes on in life, no matter what you go through, man, just stay positive and stay focused because everybody has the ability to be successful. And when I say successful, I mean, what is success? And I say stay driven with the talent you were given, right? Because that's the one formula that everybody on this planet can be successful at, right? I can't tell you that being successful is just, this certain level in your bank account or this certain neighborhood or certain whatever, because that's not, those things are superficial. They can come and go. You know, as a matter of fact, I want a tiny house. People laugh at me, but I really do. You know what I'm saying? I really want one of those little bitty houses where I don't have to worry about losing nothing, and just I could be off in there by myself. I'm gonna get me one day. Watch.
Well, Marcus, with that being said, man, we got some of your music, and you know, like I said, man, it's phenomenal, because I'm still blown away with all of the material that you have, man. It's like you're going to be actually the first artist I have on my show that's going to be able to play, you know what I'm saying, pieces of their music and be able to let the people hear it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pitch to it, you know what I'm saying, and let people get some snippets of your material. So with that being said, we're going to break, but I'm going to go ahead and play some of that, and when we come back, we're going to get back into this story, man. But right now, everybody, you listen to Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. Our guest tonight is Marcus M. Positive Parker, and I believe we're going to kick it to Queen. So we're getting into the vibration and sound, and y'all stay tuned, because we'll be right back.
I got myself a queen. Got myself a queen. Beautiful queen, Nubian queen. Man, I swear that it's a beautiful thing. Cause I got myself a queen. I got myself a queen. If you got yourself a queen, then you knowin' what I mean. So get yourself a queen. So get yourself a queen. If you wanna reach a dream, get a queen on your team. I got myself a queen. I got myself a queen. If you got yourself a queen, then you knowin' what I mean. So get yourself a queen. So get yourself a queen. If you wanna reach a dream, get a queen on your team. All the money in the world couldn't buy her. She's the object of my desire. So classy, sophisticated, I must say I admire the way she keep a smile on my face. She motivate me to do better in life. I wanna make her my wife. Wanna touch her from head to toe, just so she know her king is here. She ain't never gotta worry no more. And though most dudes might never say this, I'm not the average man, so I can recognize your greatness. I love the way she keep it real with me. And even though I got flaws, she still deal with me. And it's a shame we rarely show you what you're worth to us. Not to mention no one else can give birth to us. So I apologize on behalf of my gender and show you love from January all the way to December. So if you haven't heard it today, you're beautiful. And I'm not talking about your size or your weight, so get it straight. I got myself a queen. I got myself a queen. If you got yourself a queen, then you knowin' what I mean. So get yourself a queen. So get yourself a queen. If you wanna reach a dream, get a queen on your team. I got myself a queen. I got myself a queen. If you got yourself a queen, then you knowin' what I mean. So get yourself a queen. So get yourself a queen. If you wanna reach a dream, get a queen on your team. Yeah, she's special to me. Ain't nothing better to me. If I'm away, she be the first to write a letter to me. So I keep her right. I keep her tight. No need to fight, cause she don't never have to look for me at night. She keep me lifted, won't bring me down, and still know how to be a lady when my partners come around. She's confident, but she's not innocent. Yeah, she got a past, but she carry herself with class. She calm me down when I get nervous, and even show me love when she know I don't deserve it. Oh yeah, she worth it, and that's for certain. I know she never play me, cause she'll always be my lady. So if you're still unsure how to spot a queen, let me break it down and show you what I mean. It's not a makeup, it's not a thighs, it's the realness that you feel when you stare into her eyes. I got myself a queen, I got myself a queen. If you got yourself a queen, then you knowin' what I mean. So get yourself a queen, so get yourself a queen. If you wanna reach a dream, get a queen on your team. I got myself a queen, I got myself a queen. If you got yourself a queen, then you knowin' what I mean. So get yourself a queen, so get yourself a queen. If you wanna reach a dream, get a queen on your team.
You're back on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. with guest today, Marcus M. Positive Parker. You just heard Queen. Marcus, you, the front of the story for those just tuning in, you know, here's a guy, you know, successful, went to the military, got out, got invest in stocks, the man, big houses, nice cars, Rolex watches, and you know what I'm saying, the man. And then you fell into a very depressive time when you said you was thinking about taking your own life. But you rose through that, and you found your calling. You found your calling in giving back through the book. From the book, it went to the music. And the title, the track Queen, man, is just a phenomenal anthem, you know what I'm saying, to your queen and the queens out there, man. And like you said, you got into music, man, but you had no idea, like you said, no idea that you going from the man from your hometown to Mr. Go-To guy, and you never thought that this would be your life's calling where you're at now.
Never. I mean, you know how, you know, you feel like, I think everybody kind of feels like they see themselves being, you know, more, or, you know, an elevated version of themselves at some point, you know what I mean, or at some time in their lives, but absolutely not. I mean, not to the level of where, you know, people would, you know, recognize me on stuff, you know what I mean? A couple times in my life, I done had the little celebrity thing where somebody, oh my goodness, you know, that happened to me twice in my lifetime. And it was like, you know, both times it was still like, I mean, I'm sure the people were just tripping at how I was acting to it all, because while they were saying, like, you know, one time a young lady walked in the bookstore and she picked up her phone, and it was like, oh my God. And she picked up her phone and started dialing. She's like, oh girl, I'm looking right at him right now and whatever. And I was like, wow.
Right.
Wow.
This is what it feels like, right?
This is what it feels like. But look at what I'm tripping on was the fact that she don't even know I didn't even want to do this, right? Like I wanted her to be doing that when she saw the rims on my car. You know what I'm saying? She was supposed to be doing that when she saw the bling on my neck. You with me? That was it, but it didn't come from any of that. And I mean, again, it became more and more humbling for me to realize that, wow, you know, man, you know, I always said, you know, since I went through the, you know, the daddy issues, because, see, I was raised by a man, you know, my mother was married, and you know, and I just found out later on that he wasn't my father, you know, and it was one of those things that hurt me. You know, I really went through a lot of stress dealing with that, but I started calling, you know, God my father. I would always be like, you know, well, that's my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, my daddy knew what I needed. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my little joke, if you would, to myself, or my little, you know, reminder to myself that, Marcus, remember where you been. Remember where you been, right? Because whereas, you know, as long as everything seemed like it was right and everybody wanted me to, you know, to be around or whatever, it was like, you know, that's the biggest that I could have saw life ever being. So, you know, when I got all the, you know, the accolades from the book and stuff, and you know, of course, with the music, and man, I mean, it just blew me away because I didn't even plan it. You know, it's almost like, you know, somebody, how you end up winning a Super Bowl or something like that, and you ain't been playing football your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at some point, LeBron had to be, we knew that he was going to be a champion at one point because he's just been on the basketball for all this time. But just imagine somebody who was not in the basketball and somebody just all of a sudden throw him one and he just go super hard in the, you know, in the paint and didn't even need the years of whatever. He could just go right into it because it was natural for him, because it was born in him. You with me? Yeah. And I mean, it just blew me away, bro. So, you know, that's why now I stay humble. And I keep it up, you know, and from the music, I started making videos, right? And the videos were like, you can look on Amazon and stuff like that. I made like little videos. So now, like, I don't go to schools as much, you know what I mean? I'm older now, you know what I mean? I got aches and pains in my body, you know what I'm saying? I don't move around like I did when I was in my 20s or whatever, but you know, now I'm a family man, and Queen was a song I wrote to my wife so that, you know, a lot of these, you know, young, particularly African-American men, we always been taught to disrespect the women. You know, all of the music and the messages that we had been taught had never been about to uplift your queen and show this woman love, and that she would turn around and lift you to the highest levels in life if you did that. I don't remember nothing like that when I was coming up. I knew plenty of, you know, stomp on that chick and, you know what I mean, and put your foot on her neck and, you know what I'm saying, and chick better have my money and, you know, and the whole 9 yards. We all lived through that. And now you can't tell me that those messages, those constant messages don't work the subconscious mind to make you think and let you desensitize yourself to relationships.
That's right. Yeah. I agree. And let me say this, Marcus, the fact that you do realize and you recognize that your wife is your queen and that she is your helpmeet, you know what I'm saying? But you got to hold her down, not hold her down, but you really got to lift her up and elevate her because she is your strength. She is the one going to say, baby, don't give up. Baby, keep going. Well, let me get over here and let me run this part of the business with you. I see your vision. You know what I'm saying? Because really, we want the best for our family, man. It's just like, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm really doing this for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
yes, if so many people, I find that, you know, relationships is where my wife and I are going. So, you know, when people see the next big wave of stuff from Marcus, and, you know, the M-Positive came from on the internet. I got a lot of video, like hundreds of videos on the internet, lots of songs on the internet. And I mean, so every song is on the internet, remember, is on about 100 or so different digital distributors. So I got a lot of internet content. And so people kept confusing me with another dude named Marcus Parker. There's a lot of Marcus Parkers, actually. One is like a web designer. One is like a football player and whatever. So, like, I would read stuff on the internet that would be like, well, you know, Marcus Parker played for this right here. That's when he started writing books about this. I'm like, hold up, that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the M-Positive came from that. People would call me like, you know, the product, and they would call me product, and, you know, that was the name of the book, and Parker, and, you know, MP or whatever. So the M-Positive was a derivative of all that to separate, you know, me from, you know, everybody else, so that they, you know, if somebody was looking for my stuff, they could actually find it.
Well, because let me ask you this, man. So where are we going right now with today's youth? And I know you took the book and you spent these songs, these amazing songs and tracks, and put them in hip hop form. But what do you see today? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to dealing with our youth, because it's the same problems that we had. Drugs, maybe single parent household. Yeah. What do you see that's going on now? Because it's the same issues, but man, we live in social media, and I say we knew things back then, but the stuff that these kids are exposed to today is way more out there. You know, I didn't have sex on the internet. You know, I might have had a Playboy magazine or Hustler or something.
Right.
I might seen some boobs or, you know, or some, you know, R-rated on some TV, but these children are way exposed to much drug culture, sipping syrup, popping pills. I mean, this is in the music now, you know.
Yes.
So how do you kind of combat stuff like that?
Well, you know what? I mean, aside from the music, I recently put together, within the last year, I put together a workshop, and it's called the Dose of Motivation Workshop, and it's a kit for parents and teachers that they can use to connect with their teenagers. Because you're right, we need something. And so the kit has sections on learn to be yourself. And they're like a video from me. You know, it's like it has a you know, a certificate, so they can, you know, when they finish it, they can actually have something to put on their wall. And you can check it out at motivationtank.com. but that's what it is. It's a kit, and it's got like, I believe 10 different videos: learn to be yourself, battling negativity, following through, goal setting. All of those are actually in sections and in videos, and through that they can go through these little sections, and they can, figure out where they are in life and where they want to go. The actual student guide shows them, it draws a picture of them, the way they see themselves today. And then on the next page, they draw a picture of the way they want to see themselves in 5 years. And if that picture is them with a diploma in their hands, or if it's them, whatever, a job or a house or whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, they go through and they write down the steps to get there. And then it goes through how to work those steps day to day, and how to check off your list, and how to overcome adversity and obstacles in between while you're doing it. So that's how I put it together to add that and, give my piece. So, that the tools are there if somebody wants to build themselves, the tools to do it are in place.
Yeah, man, and that's phenomenal. I mean, that this workbook and you can actually guide the children through. I mean, that's, when you just think of that, that's phenomenal itself, because you're saying that, hey, man, I got something that's in place that can actually, take your child and really see what's on their minds and what they want to be. And it's all in this workbook. It's all in this process and this program that you've developed. So I just think that's phenomenal in itself,
Yeah, because the internet changed. I mean, social media. See, when I first started, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube in 2004 when the book was out. And at that time, the bookstores was where people met up. So I met plenty of famous artists right here in Dallas, Texas. You know what I mean? Like people like your Eric Jerome Dickies and, and esteemed writers, Nikki Giovanni and whatnot would come to Dallas, and, and they would, enjoy, meeting up with other, like minds and whatnot. And what we call the Black Bookstore was really the hub of all of that. And so I watched it as over the years, as the internet became more and more prominent, books became less and less printed. Bookstores started closing, and I started watching that the smartphones came out, and then it got to where now all the stuff that kids needed that all the information they want, they Google it, right? Remember how you used to go to grandma and grandpa, different people who had information that you didn't have? Now, in today's society, sometimes since grandma or grandpa are usually less internet savvy, they'll be the last ones to get the information. You with me?
Right.
So if you want to know the cure for, if you burn yourself, or what's good to eat to solve this, or what's good to build up your immune system, or whatever, it's just a Google away, and you're going to get a doctor's opinion and, this, that, and the other. Whereas before, so that old school knowledge that used to exist in our families is not being utilized like it did years ago when people like you and myself were coming up.
Right.
So I felt like I had to do my part to put that out there. And I guess, at some point I actually had to kind of like almost release myself, if you would. And I know that might sound weird to some people, but what I mean by it is that everything that I had inside of me, I felt like I birthed something. Like, I got pregnant, if you would. You know how in the physical, women get pregnant and they have a baby, and once it's out of them, then it takes a life of its own and grows up. And, and the woman and the child are two different individuals. Well, from the book to the music to the videos, then eventually to the workshop. The workshop was where I wanted to put like, hey, look, here's the library, and anybody who wants what I studied and what I put out there can now access it, right? And now I can kind of, start enjoying my family. I got a daughter in college, I got a son in high school, and I got a son who's finna start school. And, and I'm really I really enjoy my life, and I'm, again, humbled, and and I'm trying to enjoy it. And I think the next phase of life for me is working in the zone of relationships. because when I would do book signings and do book clubs and stuff like that, it would always be a bunch of women, and it would always turn into a relationship talk anyway, where ladies would be like, well, Marcus, why do guys do this? Why do guys say this? Why do y'all act like this and then do this? Or why does it like this and then do this? So, when me and my wife got together, because I've been divorced before, and my wife has too, and we came to a plank, and we just said, look, we're gonna have a relationship based off of truth, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I want you to be honest with me, and that's how we roll. And I'm a super happy man, you know what I mean, and I'm experiencing that happy bliss that a relationship can bring to your life, and I want to be able, she and I both want to really, be able to bring that to other people. Because I believe that those healthy relationships are the basis of, divorce, why it's so hard for us to stay together, and why it's so hard for us to focus on our kids and stuff like that. Because if you look out, we still trying to find love a lot of times. We still trying to find, that. So that's where I'm going.
Marcus, with that being said, the hour has flown by. How can people reach out, my listening audience reach out? How can they find you on social media if they want to talk to you, or if they want to get some of your products or anything? How can you be reached?
Okay. motivationtank.com is where they find the actual Dose of Motivation kit. Online, marcusparker.com. My website, it can connect you to all my social media. But if you're on like Instagram or Twitter and stuff, I'm Motivational Rap. So Motivational Rap, or you could just Google, Marcus M. Positive Parker, or Marcus M. Positive, or whatever, and you'll hit me up some kind of way. But most of that Motivational Rap. You know what I mean? Or just go to marcusparker.com or motivationtank.com.
Marcus, man, we got to get you back on the show. We can have many more shows and so many in-depth conversations that we can get into, man. I thank you so much for coming by the Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, man, and I hope you come back, man. I want you to come back. Man,
I thank you for having me. I was afraid I was talking too much. I hope you enjoyed it, man.
No. Man, this is your show, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we want. I don't want to do too much talking, man. I really want to get the story, and I feel like we got the story, the beginning. So the next time when you're on, man, we can really get into some of the psychology and different things.
The specifics.
That we're going to get into, man. But like I said, man, phenomenal job you're doing, brother, and I just got much admiration and respect for you, man. And we're going to do a lot of big things together, man. I thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. I thank y'all for having me. And this show that you are doing is one of those things that I think people need more than anything, because we need to have a place where we could go to build our mind, soul, and body, and we could get good information, because I learned so much listening to one of your podcast shows. You had a holistic trainer on there one time, and man, I sat there and I turned it on. Next thing you know, 30, 45 minutes had gone by, and I'm just listening to what she had to say, and I was like, wow, this is information that, it's just not out there. It don't just bust you in the head on television and stuff like that. And it reminds me of Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. And I think that, at some point I look forward to seeing you on there with Ms. Winfrey, because she's another person who I admire a lot. I never made it on a show on the author tip, and I got a funny story to tell you about that too. But we'll catch that on the next ride. Right. But thank y'all for having me, and please keep up the good work.
With that being said, Marcus, I'm going to go ahead and kick into another one of your songs. I think we're going to pull up Last Time and play Last Time, and I'm going to pitch to that. So right now, we'll be right back, but you listen to Whole Mind, Body, and Soul.
it just might be my last rhyme, last time, last chance for me to get it right. But it's gonna be alright, it just might be my last rhyme, last time, last moment, last book, last lyric. Hope you feel it. See, people always tell me that I'm highly underrated, and it might be true. So I thank them for the statement. They say, Mark P, you making the music we've been waiting for cats to start creating. The game is yours for taking. They say, young man, be patient. Your flow is so amazing, and that ain't no mistaking, man. Your talent is so blatant. Your lyrics motivating, and when you start to skating on tracks, you bring a message that can break through generational gaps. I give them dap, and oftentimes a one-arm hug, cause I'm the type who ain't afraid to show my folks some love. That's the way I do it, ain't nothing to it. You talking to a dude who said he'd never rap and write hundreds of tracks, drop thousands of bars and wrote books, wrote hooks. So when I give it up, man, all you gotta do is look up on the internet, yeah. And partner, I bet I got 40 to 50 songs that you ain't heard yet. It just might be my last rhyme, last time, last chance for me to get it right. But it's gonna be alright, it just might be my last rhyme, last time, last moment, last book, last lyric. Hope you feel it. From rapping to speaking at schools, I paid my dues. So quite honestly, I got nothing to prove. I got nothing to lose. And trust me, I've been used and abused. On YouTube, got thousands of views. Then been in the news and gave away clues for living. Just stay driven with the talent you were given. No other way to say it. That's why I'm putting down my pen and my pad at last. Turn in my studio pass and pray the person coming after me can capture thee. More important things in life when they get on the mic, so the younger generation could find hope in lyrics, and not only can make them groove, but can lift their spirits. And just like Martin Luther King, I got a dream myself, so know that life's true wealth is helping somebody else. And that's as real as I can say it. Signing out, Marcus Parker, last verse, motivational rapping with no curse. Might be my last rhyme, last time, last chance for me to get it right. But it's gonna be alright, it just might be my last rhyme, last time, last moment, last book, last lyric. Hope you feel it.
We're back on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. I'd like to thank my guest tonight, Marcus M. Positive Parker. Man, his story, going through adversity, having it all, to lose it all, to finding his purpose. I think that's what a lot of people go through. But the thing about his story is that when you have things, when you're up, and when you're down, you're down. And when you're up, people come, you know, they come around, but when you're down, they don't come around. And it's, you know, it sounds cliche, but it's true. I mean, people love you, you know, when you can give something to somebody. People love you when you can spend money on them. People love you, you know, when you're the man. And, you know, like he talked about giving money to people. But, you know, who was there for him when he was down? To the point where, you know, he was thinking about, you know, ending his own life. You know, he talked about being in a closet with a gun to his head. And I don't think that people understand that, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have peace, money can't buy you love, and that love of self, you know, learning to love yourself. We can love everybody. We can love our cars. We can love our houses. We can love our mates. We can love, you know, material things, but truly self-love. You know, I think Whitney Houston had a song called, and one of the lyrics was like, the greatest love of all. You know, the greatest love of all is inside of me, you know, but that's something that we have to discover. You know, Marcus talked about, you know, he never imagined, he never dreamed that he would be writing a book. You know, if he did write a book, he said, you know, it would be about him flossing, but he never thought he'd be doing something to make an impact on someone else's life. You know, Marcus goes into to schools and he talks to children, you know, single parent households, and, you know, dysfunction in the households, and he gives these children deep lessons and motivation, and telling them don't give up, you know, to live your dream. And it's okay that you don't know your father, because guess what? I didn't know mine either. You know, I say all the time that hard times don't come in our lives to break us. Hard times come in our lives to make us, because we are the sum total of our experiences. If Marcus didn't go through this, if Lawrence didn't go through that, then he wouldn't be on the radio right now. If Marcus didn't go through what he went through, he wouldn't be writing books and making hip-hop music to inspire our youth. And that's the funny thing about life, that, life is a journey. And, some of the things that we go through is only preparing us to the next step. We don't know. Sometimes we don't know. Somebody wants to be a basketball player, and he thinks that's what he's going to be. And he did play basketball, but he didn't know that he would go on and get his PhD and become a doctor of psychology and probably impact more people, have more impact on a person being a doctor than he ever did playing in the NBA, man. Life is funny. Life is what you make it. But you never know, what your true calling is sometimes. Sometimes we stumble into our purpose, And I always talk about, living your dreams and finding your purpose. And I say, find your purpose. Do something that you love to do. Do something that you want to get up out of bed every morning and you're excited and you're enthusiastic about the day. And it costs this much money for me to come, but you know what? I will come, because I love to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to find, our passion, the thing that makes us want to get up and go and just, have joy in our heart by doing this work, whatever it is, whatever you want to do it, chase your dream, you know what I'm saying? Go after it. Don't let excuses come. Oh, I'm too old now. I should have went to school for that. Or, no one's going to like it. And, people doubt and say, I can't do it. Only person you have to prove to is yourself. You don't got to prove to them. The only person that you have to believe in is yourself. Believe in yourself. See it. See it in the mind's eye. If you can see it in the mind's eye, then you will hold it in your hand, but never give up. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your goals and the things that you want to do to make you happy. So I say, do it. Go for it. Find your purpose. Live your dreams. Phenomenal show. Again, I thank Marcus M. Positive Parker for being on the show. I look forward to having him again. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I thank everyone for tuning in tonight, and I look forward to all of you coming back next Thursday night, same time, same channel. You've been listening to Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. Peace, love, and light.
I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. They wonder why I put the motivation in rhyme. In actuality, don't you think it's about that time to teach the youngsters really all about that grind and give a dose of something real that won't cloud their mind? Think your boy don't know it. Think your boy ain't did it. Think your boy ain't driving. Think your boy ain't living. Think I ain't setting goals, not working my vision. And if they talking down, man, I'm too busy to listen. I'm on motivation. It's pumping through my blood, man. My team about to win. Our opposition don't understand the way we about to do them. They think we staring at them. We looking all the way through them. And on to the next, never a physical fight. Cause my swag is so gentleman, keep it sportsman-like. And battling negativity day after day. So when they see you and your boys, they should never have to say that. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. Yeah. Motivational Rap University. Motivation, education, and music. Bumping a positive message through your speakers. It's not music. It's where I brag to you about what I got. This is music to show you how to go get it yourself. Yeah, I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. Yeah, I dream about a world where the youth are motivated. Yeah. Wanna thank you. Yeah. Wanna thank you. Wanna thank you. Yeah. Wanna thank you.
You have been listening to the Get Global Network podcast, of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence Coutee. You can hear Whole Mind, Body, and Soul Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Yes Sir FM, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network. Listen to Yes Sir FM and other member stations of the Get Global Network on the go by installing any of the Get Global Network apps like SoMetro Magazine, Grassroots Salute, Agtown Nation, or Big Red Radio Nation for your cell phone. The apps are available for download on both Google Play and iTunes app stores. Take the time to subscribe to our podcast via iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or the Spreaker Podcast Network.